Today is not a good day to die because we need to talk about the trailer for the new Flatliners movie. I'm DJ Wooldridge and this is Screen Junkies News. Remember Flatliners? No? Well, Columbia Pictures sure does, and just today they dropped the trailer for the resuscitated film which hits theaters September 29th and stars Ellen Page, Diego Luna, and a bunch of other people that are way too attractive and well-rested to be actual doctors. Here to examine the trailer with me is Roth Burnett and Danielle Radford. Hi there.
Oh, hi.
So we got a lot of people here that love the original Flatliners with a passion.
So DJ is literally talking about one person, myself.
I didn't want to be specific. The general tone of the room is that the original Flatliners is great.
We're pro Flatliners.
Yeah.
SJ News.
If you investigate a little bit, you'll see that the financing for this reboot, remake, sequel came directly from this place.
Yeah, from your
Right
passion
from
for the
my
original.
heart.
They're like, we need to get in on that market. So what does this trailer tell us about the new movie? We've got Ellen Page playing Courtney.
Yes.
And she looks to be the Kiefer Sutherland.
Right.
Which again, just to it's really funny because that would mean nothing to anyone that has not seen the original movie. So Danielle, dive in a little bit.
Yeah, she's going to be kind of the person who this is her experiment. It's like her idea. She wants to go and in the original it was a lot more like we want to go and deal with our past and get closure and things. But
it wasn't really that. The idea was, and I haven't seen it in a while, but when I was a little.
It was only like a week ago. So for you, it's been a minute.
It was at least 2 months since I did my bi-monthly viewing. I guess that doesn't make any sense. Does that work, Internet? Is the math good there?
Let us know in the comments.
The math is good.
If the math works out.
I think the math is not good. So it has been a little bit, but when I was little, I loved horror movies, and I would sneak and see all the things that I wasn't supposed to see. And for whatever reason, my best friend Lisa Shanazilia Araka, who was my horror movie buddy, and I loved Flatliners.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I haven't seen it as an adult.
Have
so
you
maybe
seen the cast in that movie? I can take a couple guesses on why you loved it so much.
It's Kiefer Sutherland, it's Julia Roberts, it's Kevin Bacon, it's the other Baldwin.
Yeah. Yes, one of the Baldwin, Billy Baldwin.
Baldwin.
Oh, look at her.
And the base premise is they are medical students who are saying, we want to know, answer the question, what happens when you die?
Yeah.
And ostensibly speaking, they each have their own motivations, but it's just to answer that question. And so they get together and each take turns dying for longer and longer periods of time so that they
can go wrong?
And then they're reset. What could possibly go wrong? Pet Sematary and every other horror movie ever hasn't told us what happens, and then they're resuscitated.
Right, and so it's in this, it's going to be Courtney's experiment. She's kind of the one who's spearheading this. You can see her bringing, if you've seen the trailer, George Norton as Jamie, who is probably going to be the Julia Roberts. He thinks he's going to go and have a grand old time, and he's making weird faces. And then she takes him down to the basement, and she's like, kill me! And so they go through, and he resuscitates her, but she winds up taking the lead. And it's interesting because Kiefer Sutherland, his character in the original was dealing with some real dark stuff, right? He was dealing with something really dark, he'd chased a kid up a tree and the kid falls.
For the 1999.
Spoilers for Flatliners.
For the original Flatliners.
Each of them, when they go, if you think about, okay, what do we imagine happens when you die? We don't know, but I feel like every different version of this, of the afterlife, tells us that in some way we're going to be reconciling with the life that we had, right? So when they die, they are more and more, as they continue to stay dead for longer periods of time, reconciling with the things that happened in their life that were traumatic for them.
So in kind of a switch up from that, in this trailer, it looks like at first they're coming back with Ellen Page's character can play the piano now, and they're confident that they're a better doctor. So looks like they're pulling back positive things. And then it starts to turn negative. Does that, I don't remember that being the original.
Yeah, it almost seems like they're getting addicted. Every time they go back, they learn something cool. It's like, oh, now I'm a super doctor. Now I can play piano. Now I can, I don't know, ride a motorcycle. Now I can do trapeze. Whatever abilities they wind up getting. And so it becomes addictive for them to keep going back and going back. Maybe they're hoping dude, if I do this enough, I can fly or whatever. They're hoping they can continue to unlock these abilities, and pushing it is what brings kind of the blowback and all of the bad things get in.
You know, and you're right. That was never, I mean, this idea, I'll tell you what, one of my least favorite tropes is this idea that we only use 10% of our brain, and that means,
by the way,
which is not accurate. 10% of like roughly that percent is conscious.
The rest of it's making sure you poop on time.
You're not remembering to breathe. Your body does that.
And your body is functioning. You're using your brain. And so it's this trope that is like, oh, if I take a pill or if I do this thing, then suddenly I will unlock these hidden abilities, and that means superpowers. I'm hoping that they're not somehow saying that now I'm accessing heretofore, like I never had to learn piano, I just know.
Do you think it could get as weird as like maybe past lives or something like that?
It could be past lives. It could be, I mean, well, if we want to talk about Plato and Socrates, which of course we do here on ScreenJunkies News, like the base, I think one of the premises is that you already know everything and you're relearning. But so maybe that's it. Or maybe they are, to your point, DJ, bringing back not their own trauma, but other trauma and other abilities of other dead people.
And it is traumatizing looking, some of the stuff that they're dealing with. Speaking real quick of past cast members, Kiefer Sutherland is returning. And according to him, he's reprising his role. He said, if it is never stated, it is never stated, but it will probably be very clearly understood that I am the same character I was in the original Flatliners, but that I have changed my name and I've done some things to move on from the experiments that we were doing in the original film. So we'll talk about a little bit about that more later, but it looks like he's coming back as...
Yeah, which is... Where?
Rod's not having it.
No. I'm legitimately confused. In the sense
it sounds like he's making up his own backstory. Like, I'm definitely the same guy.
Yeah, it's like he has a different character. It's just odd to me in the sense that we don't see him at all in this trailer. Right. He has a different name, but he's playing the same character. And yet they're doing the exact same thing that he and his group of friends did. So is he just there to say, like, if you keep, like, Camp Crystal Lake is a very dangerous road. And if you keep going down that road to Camp Crystal Lake, you're not going to like what you find.
I'm hoping that the pretty doctors are all yelling at each other in the cafeteria, and then it blurring the back. He's in the background, and then it focuses, and he's there. He's like, oh, you guys playing with death, don't do that. And he just walks out. And
he just walks away.
I would love if he just, like, you see him putting in his resignation and he's like, nope, not doing it. You watch him packing up his house as he moves to a new town.
Or is he the secret mastermind behind it all? Because he's a professor, so maybe he's Ellen Page's professor, and he's pushing them.
He's evil.
And he's like,
broken bad.
He's like, I still want, well, he wasn't a good guy in the first movie.
He's not a good dude.
Even though he sort of reconciled with what he had done, he was not a good guy. And so is he just after more information and he's pushing them?
As a science experiment almost. Lab rats.
Now, seeing this
pretty lab rats.
Seeing this new version, watching this trailer reminded me a lot of Inception, like just taking cues from it, and Final Destination. Because obviously it's pulling from the original, but in the however many decades we've had since the original, we've had Final Destination where people like cheat death and like crazy things happen. And so that's kind of the vibe of like, oh, we're cheating death a bunch and it's angry about it.
Sure. But I mean, here, the difference for me is that in Final Destination, they are cheating death, right?
Yes.
Like they were supposed to die and they got some kind of message and got out of the situation. So then death is coming after them. They're seeking out death in Flatliners. So it's like they are making a poor choice, probably. They are making a choice, whereas in Final Destination, it's a thing that's happening to them. They're more active in and then with Inception, I think partially we see that because we see Ellen Page.
What are you talking about?
But also because it's dealing, at least the original film, and I have to say that I do think it's a much more interesting concept for you to be wrestling with yourself than to be pulling in demons and things from the other world, from the netherworlds. That's the subconscious.
I feel like we've seen that before, kind of the idea of like, oh, well, if you play around with the afterlife's gonna come and get you. So I do like it. I love the idea that like they are going through to deal with the things that they haven't dealt with, and their mind is making them see that now in the present, rather than it being like, you know, the girl from The Ring or whatever.
Because it's like it actually is, and I think this is one of the reasons it is a cool idea that basically you're doing this thing to find out what happens when you die, and what happens when you die is you have to face all the things that you feel guilty about, the ways you hurt people.
I guess it wouldn't make a good movie if it's like, oh, we saw the afterlife. It was pretty cool.
It was tight.
It was pretty chill.
There was cotton candy. We got some roller coaster.
As it turns out, at lived a pretty clean life. I had a good time.
It's all good.
Yeah.
So speaking of Kiefer Sutherland returning to the role, we had the boys in the lab whip up a little game for us that they called Kiefer Sequeland.
First of all, I want to build a lab. Can we build a lab?
We need a lab.
I gotta say, the guys in the lab are good at games, not so good at names, unfortunately. So Kiefer Sequeland is what we're dealing with. So I wanted to know what classic Kiefer Sutherland movie from the 80s or 90s would you like to see rebooted with the twist of him returning as his past character?
I chose Stand By Me.
Classic.
I want to see my idea. There's like another body, and then Ace comes back, and he's still looking for that revenge.
Yeah. he made the body, and so now he's trying to lure little boys. Like, I'm gonna get it right this time.
Got so dark.
It did get a little dark.
Got so dark.
When I was saying it, it didn't sound as dark as when it actually came out.
Oh, that's so
He's
deep.
luring little boys to the body.
Listen, he was not a good dude.
He wasn't
a good dude.
You know what?
Not a good
Looking
dude.
at Kiefer Sutherland's IMDb page makes you realize he has played an a-hole so many times.
He's good at it.
Like, he's so good at it.
There's a certain point where you're like, typecast.
You sort of like him. You can watch him. He's played a jerk in so many different
He's so good at it. It's gotta be sucky if you're like a really good guy, but you're just so good at playing like evil dudes.
And it's been from evil to just kind of obnoxious to bully. Yeah, he's been like run the gambit of people you don't want to know.
Saved America like a billion times.
He has done all of that.
also.
He has, maybe that makes up for it.
What about you, Ralph? What is your...
Well, when I was looking, I was like, I recognize that it's not necessarily that I need Kiefer to come back in any of these.
Yeah.
But things that he is attached to that I would be curious about seeing again include Freeway,
Nice.
which I don't know if you guys have seen Freeway with Reese Witherspoon, but it's basically a retelling of Little Red Riding Hood, and he is a serial killer who is also the wolf in that tale, and she's Red Riding Hood, who is a total...
So you're saying it's a kids movie?
Yeah, it's a kids. It's
everybody
great.
can go
it's great
watch
for like
it.
6 and under.
There you go.
Yeah,
Perfect.
and I love that movie because it was just such a fun retelling of that fairy tale and way to do it. I don't want to give any spoilers about the movies, but I would like to see what she's up to these days. So, and Free was just a cool movie. Or The Lost Boys, which again, it's like...
Lost Boys is so good.
It's so good, but could Kiefer come back? Probably not.
Hey, listen, vampires are supernatural. You don't know what the rules are.
Yeah.
Talk about the... Oh, go ahead.
Oh, no, can we at least bring back that sexy sax guy?
Yes.
Just like...
He was really... The camera loved him in that movie.
Have you guys seen the video of the guy that does the Michael Bolton? No, he does Careless Whispers.
Yes.
Just random thought of the day. Enjoy it. Talk about the Lost Boys Brian Fuller.
There was talks of a Lost Boys revival series that each season was supposed to take place in a different decade, which would have been amazing.
Yeah.
What a cool way to tell a vampire story.
Yeah.
And that's part of what makes that movie appealing, is that it's vampires in a very different context.
Yeah, I would love to. So as to Kiefer, I'm answering you by not answering you, but I do want to see that TV show.
Yeah.
I also want to...
He could come back as a...
He could be a guy. He could be a goal. He could be a number of things. He could be all of the things.
Speaking of that, Joel Schumacher also directed Flatliners.
Yeah.
And as far as we know, it has nothing to do with this movie, but just fun fact.
Fun fact, Joel Schumacher.
Joel Schumacher.
I want to thank you guys for remaining on track with however many times I've tried to derail us with aristocracies, which is a name I just made up.
Yeah. For my Kiefer Sequeland, I would like to see a revival of Dark City with him returning as, I believe his character's name was Dr. Schreiber. And I'm not sure that he would be able to return, but again, weird rules. So I just like Dark City a lot. I think I'm taking a page from your book. It's just Dark City's amazing.
Yeah.
And if you haven't seen it, which a lot of people didn't, fix that. Fix it, go see it. It's great. It's better than The Matrix.
But you know what's... Okay.
I like it better than The Matrix.
Just one?
Oh, that take is
just
so
Matrix
hot.
1?
That's such a spicy take.
I like Dark City a lot. It's a cool concept.
I love Dark City, but do you mean better than the whole of The Matrix or just Matrix 1 versus Dark City?
I think I compared the two because they use sets from Dark City for The Matrix.
Yeah. They're different movies.
They are very different movies.
Yeah, I mean, there's like hidden worlds.
It's definitely, I can easily say it is better. Dark City is better than the Matrix trilogy overall.
Yeah.
I feel confident in that.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah.
Let us know what you think of our Welcome to Meandering Thoughts with Screen Junkies News. And you leave us in the comments whether it was Aristotle or who said that we already knew everything and then we just relearned
it. They will let us know.
They'll let us know.
I appreciate the anecdote, Danielle. Thank you for helping us unpack this trailer. But we want to know in the comments down below, what did you think of the Flatliners trailer? Are you excited for the reboot? And what Kiefer Sutherland movies would you like to see rebooted? Let us know in the comments down below. Remember to be nice to each other. Thank you for watching, and please click here for more videos. Tweet us at SJ News, and don't forget to click that subscribe button below, and we'll see you next time.